Here's the thing we always forget about when we're building something, and as we talk about standing, is it has to be a strong foundation that we're standing on, right? So this week was fun for me because I had left my old job back at the way I call it years ago. About 3 years I've been gone from there, and we're having the annual campaign at my new job, and I get called in every year like, hey, can you help us out? This year was interesting because they asked for me to essentially stand in the old role that I left because they don't have a person right now. They're in between hirings. I knew my boss was a little nervous when I said it. I said, no, ma'am, I'm not going back. I was singing, I won't go back, Jesus. But here's the thing is, I went and I did a couple of presentations this past week. And here's the funny part is, I remembered how, like, my speech came back to me. Like, I knew the stats. But here is the thing is, I had done it for so long that when I needed to go back to it, it was available. I say that is that we have to understand that is what makes a foundation so important. Is that when we don't know what to do or how to go or we get lost, we go back to that foundation. So here's the thing is when you are building, and I promise you they take the longest, praise them Lord, I have to be patient. Yeah, I got the master builder. The thing about building is that after each part is done, it must be inspected. Yes, that's right. You cannot add on to anything if you have ever done a renovation in the city of Des Moines. You ain't supposed to. But there is a reason for that, though. It's supposed to come in and be inspected. The framers have to be inspected. The electricians have to be inspected. The plumbers have to be inspected, because what happens is if it is not inspected and there's a problem with your foundation and you build on it, that creates other problems. So here's the thing is you don't see the problem today, but the problem will eventually come to the surface. So sometimes we have to go back, and if that happens, you know what they got to do? Tear it all down. It has to be torn down to the foundation. And the whole foundation has to be repaired or rebuilt completely, depending on how bad of a foundation it was. But we have to get that foundation right. And I know last week I talked about going back to the line, but this week I even had to see it for myself. Because what happened was I'm still recovering. I'm good. But I would prefer to have been at home in my sweatpants and my t-shirt. Had to get on the whole professional dress, go in and be even more presentable because I'm in front of a room of people. When my heart, I tell you, I would love to have been on my couch with my feet up with my laptop. So I had to press through the way that I felt. But in that press, it can be exhausting. It can be tiring. And in that press, what I realized is I went back to my foundation. Now, when I tell you I have to remember, I was like, boy, that was a hard foundation being built. Because the whole time it was building, Apostle can testify this, I was being critiqued from left to right. Every time I did something, it was critiqued. And here's the thing is, much like Jaleel talked about the weeds, I had to understand what critiques to take and to leave. Not everybody wanted to see me with a strong foundation. Because here's the thing is people were noticing that my foundation was stronger than their foundation. Here's the bigger thing is your foundation, and I mentioned this a long time ago, my dad did construction. Your foundation dictates what can be built. The depth and the strength of the foundation dictates if it can be a 2-story building or 200-story building. That is determined by the foundation. So what happens is people can see your foundation being built. And they got a good life. Don't get me wrong. They got their nice 10 stories, right? But they looking at yours and they're like, oh, that foundation is meant for 100 stories. That foundation is meant to go wide and high. And so they can say they're inspecting, but their critiques can be tearing down your foundation, because you can tell right there by that foundation where you're expected to go. So understand, as we are going forward, we are building up, we are shoring up, thank you, our foundation, so that we can build, so that we can go up. And here's the thing, is those critiques, those weeds that try to come out, we can identify where they are in the very beginning. Because the thing is, that foundation is what you come back to. When you get tired, when you get stressed, when you can't think straight, when you can't even verbalize what you are going through, you go back to whatever that foundation is. And we have to make sure that that foundation is able to hold the things that are coming at us, and be able to support us as we are putting our feet down, as we are bracing ourselves. As I see the kids line up for football, they have to get in their stance, because they are preparing their foundation now to take the hit that is coming at them. And in some cases, they have to prepare their foundation to push through the thing that is in front of them. But understand, even when your foundation gets critiqued, understand it is to build it up.
Say that, not to tear you down.
When you have a good source, when the city tells you to fix it, fix it. Understand the source. Now, if your cousin, friend, neighbor next door who used to work on a farm tells you to do it, understand the source. But when you have an official, someone who is positioned and titled, comes in, he's good. It's his bottle time. It's okay. When someone comes in with the official title, they got a badge. They got titles. They are credentialed and certified to critique your foundation. You got to let it go. You got to fix it. Amen. So as we go and continue to examine our foundations, shore those things up, because God don't build small. I need y'all to know that. Our God does not build small. He does not do tiny homes. Smallness. I say we don't serve a God that do tiny homes. He says extend your tent pegs. Make it bigger, greater, exceedingly, more than I can think or imagine. So as you go forward, allow your foundation to be shored up so that you can go beyond. Amen? Amen.